Hi, and welcome to Dropbox for Business. We're really excited to bring Dropbox to your team. Working together is about to get a lot easier. To get you up and running in no time, we're going to cover the main things you need to do to get started on Dropbox: adding your colleagues, sharing with your team, and using your admin settings and controls. But first off, what are you getting with Dropbox for Business? Well, to start, you and your colleagues will get a seamless transition from the Dropbox you know and love. But on the business account, you will also gain additional features like unlimited deletion recovery, version history, and as much storage as you need. On top of that, our business product brings your colleagues' accounts together and lets the admin control security settings, sharing, user activity, and onboarding and offboarding of team members. We'll go over those in more detail soon, but let's start at the beginning. The first thing you'll want to do on your new Dropbox for Business account is add your colleagues. This can be done on the Members tab in the Admin console. To invite members to my new team, Peppo Incorporated, I'll click on Invite Members and enter in my colleague Hannah's work email address. I'll then press Invite to Team. This will send Hannah an email invitation. Just so you know how your colleagues will be joining you on Dropbox for Business, let's see what this looks like for Hannah. Hannah will receive this email inviting her to join your team on Dropbox for Business. She'll click Join the Peppo Incorporated team to get started. If Hannah didn't already have a Dropbox account, she will set one up right here. She'll enter an email address and password, and her business account is ready to go. Next, we'll ask Hannah to set up a personal Dropbox. This way she can clearly separate her work and personal stuff while keeping both on her computer. If Hannah has a personal account already, she can use that, and if she doesn't have one yet, she can also easily create one at this time. We'll even give her some free space on her personal account as an added bonus. For someone who already had a Dropbox account for work, say your colleague Angel, the process will be similar. Instead of having to create a work Dropbox, Angel can join your team with his existing account. All his files will still be there, just like before. But first, we'll ask Angel to confirm that he's ready to join your team on Dropbox for Business, and that he has in fact been using this account for work files. As the admin, you're going to get some pretty hefty controls on this account, so we want to make sure it's not full of Angel's personal data. If it is, Angel can move those files into a personal Dropbox before he joins your team. Just like Hannah, Angel will be able to keep both a personal and work Dropbox on all his devices for clear data separation. And that's it! Your colleagues are now part of your team on Dropbox for Business. If you and your colleagues are new to Dropbox, your next step will be to download the Dropbox desktop application. The desktop app is core to what makes Dropbox so easy to use. It creates a magic folder on your computer that looks and feels like a regular folder. The only difference is that this folder is connected to your Dropbox account online. So whenever your computer has an internet connection, Dropbox will sync any recent changes you made to files across your devices and with your collaborators. One handy feature to point out on the desktop is called Selective Sync. It's under Preferences right in your desktop app. By default, Dropbox syncs all your files to your computer's hard drive so you can easily access them from your desktop. But you might not need all of those files taking up space on your computer. With Selective Sync, you can save space and choose which folders to sync to your desktop and which to just keep online. Simply uncheck any folders you don't want to sync to your desktop, and they'll no longer appear there. You can always access all your files on the Dropbox website or other linked devices, and you can always recheck that folder if you want to access it from this computer in the future. Now that we've set up your team on Dropbox, the fun really starts. Let's get some files in Dropbox so we can start sharing and collaborating. Adding files to Dropbox is as simple as dragging and dropping them into your Dropbox folder. When you do this, the files automatically upload to your Dropbox account and show up on Dropbox.com. We also have a web uploader, but the desktop is better for larger files or for uploading whole folders. Once you have files in your Dropbox, you're ready to share them. Files start out private by default, but you can easily share with colleagues or clients when you want to. There are three main ways to share on Dropbox for Business: shared folders, team folders, and shared links. The bread and butter of sharing on Dropbox is the shared folder. When you invite colleagues to your shared folder, you'll be able to collaboratively edit files, and any updates or changes will sync across the group. When I invite my colleague to a folder, they'll receive an email asking them to join. When they accept, they will be able to edit files in the folder, delete files, and add new ones. You'll notice that once you share a folder, the folder's icon changes from a blank folder icon to one with 2 people on it. This indicates that the folder is now shared. Since I created this folder, I'm the owner of that folder on Dropbox, which means I can control who has access to it and how it can be shared. If I right-click on my shared folder, I'll see that my first choice is now Shared Folder Options. If I pull that up, I can view and manage who is part of my folder. I can invite new users down here at the bottom. I can also kick people out by clicking on the gear icon next to my colleague's name. When I do that, I can either wipe these files from their devices or let them keep a copy. I can also transfer ownership of the folder to make someone else in charge of it. You'll notice at the top of the folder a description of the sharing settings that are currently in place. If I click Change, I can update these settings. I can determine whether or not the folder can be shared with people outside of my team, and I can decide who can invite people to my folder, whether it is just me or anyone in the folder. Lastly, I can hit Unshare Folder at the bottom left here, which changes the folder to a private one that only I can access. Your folders might be organized into a number of different subfolders, so let's talk about how this works on Dropbox. If you share a folder on Dropbox, the person you share it with will have access to everything inside that folder, including any subfolders. Sometimes you'll want that, and sometimes you won't. In the first example here, I have the parent folder Holiday Party, and I want my coworkers who are planning the party to have access to all of the subfolders, so I'll share the parent folder with them. But in the second example, my parent folder is Contracts, and I don't want my clients to see everything in that folder. I only want them to see the subfolders that are relevant to them. In this case, I won't share the parent folder, but instead I'll share a subfolder with each client. Now, say I have a coworker, Will, who is working with all my clients, so he does need to see all of this information. I'll need to share each subfolder with Will to give him access to these files. What I can't do is add him to the parent folder. On Dropbox, you can't share a parent folder with one group of people and subfolders with other people. We do this to encourage straightforward sharing permissions. Trust us, it gets really complicated otherwise. Moral of the story, think about how you want to share, by the overall folder or by the subfolder. Okay, so what if you want to work on a document with your whole team? Do you need to invite all 10 of them to the folder one at a time? Thankfully, no. You can use a team folder for this. Team folders are the second way to share on Dropbox for Business. They are a special feature of your Dropbox for Business account and can only be created by an admin. Team folders are automatically shared with all the members of your team, so you don't have to invite each of your colleagues one at a time. You just create the folder and everyone gets access. Team folders also make transitions easier. When new members are added to your business account, they'll automatically see the team folders. And whenever you remove someone from your business account, they'll automatically be removed from any team folders. Keep in mind that team folders can't be shared with people external to your business account, so you should only use these folders for internal company-wide files like HR forms and training materials. For anything else, you can just use a shared folder like we did earlier. Okay, so collaboration is great, but what if you want to, say, send out your project portfolio to a potential client? You want them to see your documents, but not change them. You can do this with a shared link, the third way to share on Dropbox for Business. You can think of this as a replacement for an email attachment, except there's no limit on the file size, and the person you share with doesn't even need to have a Dropbox account. To share a link, I'll right-click on the file and then select Share Link. I can either click Get Link to copy this link to my clipboard and send it to someone, or I can type in my colleague's email address and Dropbox will send them an email for me. When I share a link, I can also determine who can view the link, anyone or only members of my business account. After creating my link, I can delete it at any time. I'll just go to my Links tab where I can view links that I've sent or received from others. I'm going to delete my project portfolio link, so the next time someone tries to access it, they won't be able to see the file. Accidents do happen, so it's great that your Dropbox for Business account comes with unlimited deletion recovery, which means you can always bring back a file that's been deleted. To restore a file, I'll click on the trash can icon to view deleted files, and they'll all appear in gray. I can then click on any of these and hit Restore to bring them back. If I right-click on any file, I can also access a complete version history of the file and revert back to a previous version. Okay, now that we're up and running on Dropbox for Business, we'll talk about the final piece of your account, using the admin settings and controls. One of the benefits of Dropbox for Business is that it brings your colleagues' accounts together and lets you manage members, sharing, and company data. Here's a quick tour of your admin console so you can see some of the settings. You can get to the admin console on the left-hand side of your Dropbox homepage. The first tab is the Members tab, where you can add and remove members of your account. You can also click on each member to get more detail about their activity and devices, including wiping any of their devices if, for instance, their iPad gets lost at the airport. You can also do this when you remove team members from your account. The Activity tab is where you can view and download detailed information about what's happening on your account, including the sharing log, where you can see all the sharing activities across your team, including any sharing with external people. The Account tab is where you can add licenses, access your billing information, and find contact information for Dropbox. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We're so glad to have you on board with Dropbox for Business. Happy syncing!